Hello everybody, I'm SoniaChoquette. I am a spiritual teacher who has been working primarily in the area of developing our sixth sense, which I believe is the one that is necessary to open and activate and allow to become a primary guiding force in our lives if we hope to shift the planetary consciousness the way that we all are gathering and intend to do. And the reason for this is that our heart is a very intelligent organ, and it guides and informs us at a level of truth. It is the organ that first picks up on energy before the mind and the intellect and the ego filter can interfere. It's the part of us that gives us consciousness and life force. Now, for a long time, we have really kind of pushed the heart wisdom to the background, saying our intellect is king, and yet it really is probably the core mistake that we as humanity have made to kind of disconnect from our intuitive guidance system, which is the frequency of unconditional love, for one. Secondly, the heart is the connector of all of us. It is not only just the connector of my consciousness to my authentic spirit, it is also the connector of my consciousness to the authentic spirit of other people, as well as informs me of what is not harmonious and in alignment with that. It is the consciousness that connects me to the consciousness of the earth, and that it is a living being that needs to be treated with care, love, and respect. It is the consciousness that clears our awareness so that we're able to feel our connection. The problem with the ego mind, although it has certainly its benefits and genius, doesn't have the ability to feel this connection. And therefore, it makes it very easy to erroneously believe that people are things. And generally, from an ego standpoint, things that might potentially threaten me, things that could harm me, things that I have to put up barriers against, things that I need to judge and make wrong and overwhelm and protect, and at worst, kill. It's the same thought about the planet, that it's a thing that's just for my use as a very selfish entity, that it's not something I have any responsibility to. We can only experience that deeper consciousness through the heart, where we actually feel the connection. So I believe if you've come to this conference, you're already recognizing and are probably in high agreement that our heart is an intelligent, informing sense that we need to reintegrate back into our lives if we're going to see an accurate and true picture of our connection to our own spirit, our connection to one another, our connection to the planet, and our responsibilities. The other thing about the heart, as opposed to the intellect, is the heart tells the truth. Now, I'm not talking about the reactive, insecure, emotional body, which really is an element and a facet and an expression of the ego mind. I'm talking about the power and the force that gives our heart the power to beat, our life force, our spirit, our divine nature. As we connect with this divine nature, we begin to feel guided. It's not a thinking process. We translate it into thoughts once we feel the energy, but it's more like a force that pulls us forward onto our path and activates and opens when we are in alignment with our true nature, making our highest contributions, expressing ourselves with love and connection. And it will pull and kind of contract and pull us back if we're wavering off of our path. So that feeling is centered in the heart and the gut. And that science now, I'm not a scientist, but I do observe and watch and read from the sidelines, and science is beginning to agree that we do have a conscious an aware consciousness in all the cells of our body, and that they're really at a higher cluster and a higher level of informing in the heart and the gut. And this is where our intuitive sixth sense lies. Now, I propose that we do not consider it a sixth sense. I propose that we reorient our whole paradigm and consider it our first sense, our most informing sense, that it takes activation and it begins to guide us from the minute the heart beats. It informs the cells in our body how to develop. It informs the way the brain and the body is organized, and it starts to inform us about three things. One, the heart keeps us connected to source, keeps us connected to our inner guidance, keeps us in alignment and integrity with who we are. Secondly, I believe that our heart gives us access to the quantum field, so that we can arrive at awareness from a point of non-local connection. This is the exchange of ideas with one another telepathically around the world. This is the group awakening that we're all having, that we're all simultaneously receiving these these consciousness downloads that are waking us up. It's informing us about the fact that there are subtle realms, that there's more than meets the eye, and that consciousness and life is not just happening on the physical plane. It informs us on how to receive what we need, which is at this point something that's seems very scarce, but lets us know. It informs us that we need love and connection and community, that we need these things as much as we need breath and food and water. So the brain isn't going to give us that experience. It might give us information, but the heart creates an energetic experience that we can trust and move forward with. So how do we get in touch with that energy quickly? I mean, we can talk about this all day long, but we really need to have the direct experience. So the first thing is, you can just do something very simple. Just open your ears until you hear a click. And you can feel the opening in the heart, the chest, the lungs, the contraction. You can actually feel this opening. And this, our fearful selves have our diaphragms contracted, and they're very armored around our heart. But this aha, the aha is the sound of the divine. The and it opens the heart, and we kind of drop our awareness back in, and then you exhale all the thoughts like you're blowing out candles. A few breaths of that, less than 10, will quiet the brain, quiet the ego brain that's fearful, fight or flight, freeze or please, and begins to listen. Because the difference between the ego brain is it's talking, and the heart brain and even the gut brain are listening. But we're not listening for words, we're listening for energy. We're listening for informing frequencies, and those informing frequencies guide us in life. We feel it. What are we feeling? Just like when you hear music, you feel it. It's a vibration that affects your body. And when we listen and receive these vibrations, they either have a positive, harmonious effect, we feel peaceful, relaxed, we lean in, or they inform us that this is dissonant energy. It doesn't align with who we are. It doesn't align with our spiritual truth, so we contract and step back. This is how at the most basic level our intuition works, our sixth sense, our inner compass, which I call our inner teacher. If we start leaving room to value this informing as primary, as vital, as most essential, instead of secondary and dismissible, we're going to heal. But if we, there's a Chinese saying from the Book of Changes, the way it begins is the way it ends. We have to begin by reconnecting to that point where our life starts, where our heart beats. That heartbeat is where our life force lies. And so we go there and move outward. Trusting your vibes is what I simplify this, because it is a vibration. It's a guiding vibration. To trust that, you have to make a decision to recognize that my inner compass is real. It's valid, it's informing me, it's giving me an accurate mirroring and a reflection of whatever situation and whatever connection I'm in. In other words, if it feels right, do that, and if it doesn't, don't. Make it simple. Not too much talking. Your first sense is a listening sense. It's taking a pulse on your experience, on the atmosphere around you. And it's giving you direction that you have free will to listen to or not. But I would simply ask, how's it working out for you not to listen to your intuition? How does your life feel? Is it flowing? Is it good? Are you healthy? Are you happy? Are you connected? Do you feel loved, secure, and supported? If you trust your vibes, if you follow your first sense, your intuition, your inner guidance system, and make choices based on what that is giving you, I'm pretty confident you can say, yes, that is true. That is what is happening. I feel grounded, aligned, harmonious, safe, and loving. And so I become a force of good in the world, not just languaging and telling everybody else to be a force of good. My own energy, my own experience of being with me is a healing force in the world, because we entrain, humans entrain. And if I'm in a harmonious, well-connected, grounded, listening, connected, deeply connected vibration, those who come into my field will start to get connected as well to their heart. So one heartbeat at a time, one breath, one decision to trust my heart and open it up at a time will ripple out and will quickly affect the consciousness of the planet. Not because we have words that we have to think and process, but because we have an experience that grounds us, guides us, and beautifully informs us of the truth of a situation for now. I'm SoniaChoquette. I hope you enjoyed my talk. It was a pleasure and an honor being with you. All my love.